There's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in our own lives. Whether or not you're talking about finances, whether you're talking about relationships, whether or not you're talking about sicknesses or disease or whatever it is going on, the enemy always wants us to be focused on it, first and foremost. And if he can get us focused on it and not God's glory and majesty and all the things he's capable of doing, the enemy has us held right here. And that's where now maybe it's just me and I need to repent, but I feel there's this moment right here that there's this thing that wants to break through and break past, but we're held on looking at all of the negative possibilities, the troubles, the hardships, how difficult it is or how hard it is, instead of just going back, okay, God, in your glory and your majesty, I'm going to worship you no matter what. Even if I don't get my way. Or even if it doesn't look like it's going my way. Or if it doesn't look like it's going at all. We've talked over the last few weeks about worshiping God without fear. We've talked about worshiping God in no matter where we're at, no matter what we're going through. You had a calling about being in obedience last Sunday, about, listen, there are times that we just have to be obedient and step up and say, okay, listen, I understand, God, I don't feel like it. I mean, I told Sarah this morning, I was like, I feel, my spirituality this morning felt like it tanked. I'm being honest. I mean, anybody else feel that way? Some mornings when you get up in the morning, whether it's Sunday morning service or whatever, you're crawling out of bed and you're going, you've got to be kidding me. I don't want to go people. I don't want to go face to face with anybody. I don't want to have to, being real, I don't want to have to fake it and raise my hands and make it look like I'm worshiping. I don't, and what is that? It's the enemy getting in there and making us feel like, one, we're not worthy, that we shouldn't be there to begin with, or that we don't have it all together, that we should just be, I'm a son of God, I should be perfect, like Jesus. No. There's this thing. Now, I don't know if it's just out there all around or maybe it's just lingering here. There's a moment that you have to choose that how I feel, I could care less how I feel. It ain't about getting my feelings hurt. It's not about me not feeling well, because honestly, if I didn't feel like it, half the time we wouldn't leave the house. I mean, let's be real. How many of y'all really, truly feel like getting up and going to work some mornings? Or getting up and going to church, or coming out for prayer and praise, or doing whatever? No, there's a moment that we don't feel like it. I don't think Jesus felt like dying on the cross. But there was a decision he made that this was what was necessary. Not just for himself, but for the other people that he was serving. There's a moment. There's a moment that how I feel doesn't matter. It's about how I'm supposed to be obedient or not. See, that worshiping in spirit and truth that I talked about a week or so ago, I'm starting to understand a little bit more. It's about being real even where we're at in our own journey. And I don't mean just the truth of God or the truth of all that, but I mean the truth of going, to be honest with you, the most about spirituality I felt this morning when I got up is I just assume sit here. We're about to find out how good these speakers are. I could do this with the other set. I mean, really? But what does it matter how we feel? Obedience isn't about how you feel. My kids can fuss all day long. I don't feel like doing the dishes. I don't care. I don't feel like picking up after the dogs. I don't care. It's about obedience. I think the one thing about this current society, and I say this current society, it is so much about how we feel. Whether or not we're offended, whether or not we like something, whether we don't like something, whether we like this church or this morning or that morning, it ain't about how we feel. God called us to a particular purpose. He gave us everything we needed to accomplish the purpose, if and only if we apprehend it and apply it.